to another episode of Ready Set Podcast. My name's Angus.
My name's Tony.
I'm Ricky.
I'm Derek.
So guys, let's share a little something about ourselves. What's the most embarrassing moment that you guys ever, experienced?
Embarrassing moment.
Yeah. I can tell a little bit of myself. Was for me, it's probably stepping on dog crap when I was in elementary, because back when you're young, you're embarrassed, you don't want to tell people. So I would step on it and I would go to class right after, and the teacher would always say like, "What's that smell?"
Oh.
But I would sit there and not
You
say
must have
anything.
stepped on a giant pile of dookie,
Yeah.
because if she can smell it, it's pretty bad.
So the whole class can smell it, but I don't want to wrap.
Oh, nobody else knew? It was you?
No one knew until I guess someone was sitting next to me, and we were sitting cross-legged, right? And you could tell.
Oh man!
So the one next to me is like, "That's a lot of dirt on your shoe." I'm like, "Yeah, it's a lot of dirt."
It's just dirt.
It's just dirt.
Until of course the teacher starts saying "Yo, someone stepped on dog crap." Who it is, and then the guy wrapped me up.
But in elementary school, it was probably on carpet, right?
It was on carpet.
Oh,
so
yeah,
you
were those footprints?
Yeah.
Just shit everywhere.
You see it leading straight back to Angus's desk right there, and then the teacher's like,
And he's just
well,
pretending like he's reading a book
and
or
then
something.
she looks at me, and I'm like, "I didn't do it. What are you looking at me for?"
That's funny.
Yeah, so that was probably my most embarrassing moment, and it happened not just once, but multiple times. But I would never admit it,
Yeah.
because you're a kid. Everyone makes fun of you, right? When you're young, you're like, "Oh,
Yeah,
this
and
kid."
you're more insecure, and
Yeah, you just don't want to be.
someone teases you, you take it more so personally compared to now, right?
Yeah.
You just might brush it off.
Yeah, and you don't want to be put on the spotlight. So that's the biggest thing.
All the kids are pointing he stepped on dog shit.
Yeah, and then everyone makes fun of you for a week or two, and you're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
my life is terrible." So
Doesn't that happen to you guys a lot though? Just stepping in dog turd? Because it can happen to anyone, right?
man, I'm very careful now.
Yeah,
I
really?
look at the crowd.
I don't know. Last time it happened to me was maybe a few months ago. It was at a dog park though. So I was like,
Oh yeah.
Oh,
that's
so
expected.
They're just landmines everywhere.
Yeah,
They're just
yeah, it's
dodging.
expected now.
Oh yeah. So whenever I step in dog shit, I usually just find a clean patch of grass and
Yeah.
just rub my shoes. I'm just not even ashamed. I look and it's okay, I stepped in dog shit. I just rub it.
Yeah.
Really?
Because I don't want to take it inside the house and stuff with
Yeah,
me,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
Do you end up washing it?
Sometimes depends how
Oh,
severe it is.
really? Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah. You can just rinse it in a bucket or something. And,
Oh, it works?
yeah, but just
okay.
rub it in grass. You guys have probably tried
Yeah.
that, right?
I tried
dry,
that.
clean grass.
Yeah.
But at the end, I just bring my shoe and I scrub the heck out of
Oh.
What do you scrub it with? You still use it as a scrubber?
that's
That's like a
But-
toothbrush.
it. That rotten toothbrush, just in there. It's why is it brown all the time? I'm like, so,
Just don't use it. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have a story that's kind of related to that. So this actually happened to me twice. It's probably the most vivid, embarrassing moment of my childhood, I would say. So it happened to me twice. So I forgot which one happened first, but I was probably around maybe 5 or 6. I was living in Surrey at that time. And then I was at my cousin's house, and for some reason all the washrooms were taken at that time. My cousin was showering one, the other one was taken with someone else. It's only 2 washrooms. It was during just before the holiday season, so remember those Sears catalogs where you look at all the toys. So we're all in a squat around the kitchen floor. There was my auntie was there, and then my other cousin and me, and we were oh these are the toys that I want and stuff. And then I felt my stomach
oh man.
start to gargle, and I was
Because
like,
you're
okay.
squatting in that position
Yeah,
as well.
I don't know why we're squatting, but it was typical Nammer thing to do, I guess.
Yeah.
But we're going through it, and I was I started feeling uneasy, oh man, I really got to go. But I was thinking, I was okay, that one's taken, the master bedroom washroom's taken. So I was dude, this is really bad. And at that age, you don't want to tell anyone, right? That, oh hey, I have to poo. Can you tell that person to get out? So I just hold it in, and then it just rips. It rips. And I was wearing jeans at the time. I don't know why I was wearing jeans. But, so I was 5 or 6. I can't recall exactly, but it just rips. And then obviously the scent starts to make its way around, and then everyone's yo, what's that smell? I was beer. And I was so embarrassed. I was yeah, what is that?
You're in denial when you're young. You don't want to admit it.
And then after a while, I was I think I pooed my pants. then my uncle was like, "What the hell? You should have just told us." So like he had to like take me to the washroom.
Oh my god.
He like stripped my pants down. And like I was a pretty big kid. I was always like a pretty big kid. So like I was like 5 or 6. I think I was probably like 50 or 60 pounds already.
Oh my god.
So I looked like I was like a 7 or 8 year old kid, right? So imagine like a big kid with like curly hair, like just shitting himself. I was like, you shouldn't be doing that, right? So it takes me to the wash and strips me down, like turns on the freaking
Hoses
faucet.
you off.
Yeah. Dude, it was
So
so
Chelsea's standing against the wall, just takes a
it
spray
was
gun.
so embarrassing. It was worse because it wasn't at my house. It was at my cousin's house, right? Yeah, and then the second time it happened to me, I was on a ferry going back to Prince Rupert, which is my hometown.
Oh.
And I don't know why, but like again, I just was on the ferry with my mom and my sister. We were sitting on the chairs, and then I just couldn't hold it in. I just let it rip, and I was around like 5 or 6 or something too. So the two moments happened within like a year or two. And then I remember specifically, like my sister still roasts me to this day. Some passenger, some older guy, he was like, strong smell, and I was like, oh, and then my sister was laughing. And I told my mom. She brings us to the public washroom.
Oh my god.
Like, I don't know, forgot how she cleaned me up, but yeah, super embarrassing. Both like in a public,
Wow.
because I wasn't at my house the first time on the ferry, and yeah,
Oh shit.
I can't live that down.
But okay, you've probably sharted after that once or twice before, right? Am I the only one?
No, that's why I try not to fart.
Yeah.
'Cause
I haven't sharted, yeah.
I have.
Oh, fuck.
Not where something actually comes out, like you have like maybe a moist fart, but then you like check, you're like, okay, it's not bad.
Oh,
there's nothing there. It's just
oh,
Hey,
shit.
No,
Yeah.
you know when you say that when you're older, you never trust a wet fart.
Yeah,
you know?
I don't like try
Or
not
like
to
small
fart anymore.
bubbles of fart,
Yeah,
and it's like, oh shit.
No.
yeah.
Yeah.
Has that happened to you
Yeah,
guys?
Yeah,
it's happened
oh,
to
yeah.
me.
That's why I don't fart.
And you've like gone to the washroom, check like, oh shit,
Yeah.
like I'm outside.
I always go to
change
the
my
washroom
underwear.
and fart, just in case, man.
I was at a
Wait, when you're at home, you just let it rip,
Yeah,
right?
no, no, even at home I go.
You go to the washroom?
Yeah, to fart because like, yo, man, accidents
You never
happen.
know, right?
You never know. It's
Wow.
like because it happened like a couple times, and I'm just like,
but you can tell sometimes if it's like a big gas bubble.
Like if you
inside
haven't
or not,
like
right?
went like
yeah,
took
a
a
lot of
dump in
beans.
like 2 days, and then you should be cautious. But if you just went in the morning,
No, unless you eat a lot of beans, you don't know when it's a fart.
the
When it's-
downsides of a vegan diet,
I
everyone.
know.
So it's happened to you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've started once. I was just driving down to Seattle on my own. I was eating at a pho restaurant. Yeah, I started and went to the washroom, checked it out, and confirmed it. Resumed my meal.
Oh my
Did you
God.
do a little bit of clean?
Of
a
course,
little wipe?
yeah,
Okay,
of course.
okay.
I'm not a maniac.
He just.
yeah, no. I was like,
I
cool.
did it.
Yes,
I'm
I'll
gonna go
inspect
back.
it. Oh
Put
yeah,
it
all
back
right. Yeah, no.
Sit on it. and
Yeah,
just
immediately
everywhere.
finished my meal as fast as possible. Went to Uniqlo, bought a new pair of
Oh,
underwear.
okay.
Yeah.
You took initiative. Some people just clean it and then wait until they get home or back to their hotel or whatever. But you gotta change your clothes.
Yeah, right away.
So
Yeah,
here's a
smart
question
man.
for you: like, what would you rate Uniqlo's underwear?
Underwear?
Is it worth buying?
Yeah, I think it's okay.
Isn't it pretty cheap? Their stuff.
I
General?
think it's pretty cheap. The quality tends to be good. I don't know about the underwear though.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty happy with it. Underwear. Yeah.
Still use it to this day.
Yeah.
I
Alright.
get my underwear from Costco,
Yeah.
but that's just me.
Yeah, it's the deal, man.
Yeah.
It's all about the deal.
I've always
10
heard about like Saxx underwear.
Isn't that for
Oh
women?
no! It's apparently it's really
XX.
good.
Yeah, I've heard it's like
It's like
really.
premium.
Yeah.
It's like some silk, like
yeah,
soft.
but it's like
Yeah.
30 something bucks a pair.
Oh hell
Yeah.
no.
On Black Friday, the sale was like 26 bucks a pair. I was like, fuck.
Because it has like a pocket for your balls.
Is that what their
Yeah,
their gimmick
it
is?
does. Like it has a pocket for your balls.
Should we just find a day where we all buy a pair of Saxx and do an honest review?
Yeah.
We're good. We're good.
Go to the gym, do like a 1 hour podcast, and see how we feel after. If there's
Yeah.
any swells, swass,
Yeah.
there's good ventilation.
I think my balls are getting mixed up in here. Oh no.
You don't want to be wearing the expensive stuff when you shart. That's for sure.
No. Yeah, that's
Oh
for
my
sure.
God, yeah.
You wouldn't be throwing those away.
I don't know.
Selfish.
I don't know. If I
You
would.
wash it for like 30 minutes trying to wash it.
Shoving it. Derek, any sharting?
I don't. Well, I mean, I did do it probably when I was little, because you know, when you said you were 5 or 6, like it's quite understandable sometimes because you know when you're a little kid, you know you just can't hold it in sometimes because you know your bladder's small or else your bowels are pretty small,
Yeah.
and you're like as much as you try to hold it in, it's like I can't, not anymore. It's not like now when we're adults we'll be like, all right, gotta. endure this, right?
Yeah.
And then so I think a lot of the times it would be simply like during a road trip, but like for me, it would definitely be like so my parents used to drive me down to drive us down to Disneyland because I had an aunt and an uncle in sort of the LA area, a little bit
that's a
outside
long
of it.
drive.
Near Anaheim.
Yeah, it was actually a very long drive, and like you know, there's certain rest stops between areas, and so once you pass a rest stop, there's not another rest stop for at least another 15, 20 minutes.
You're just
down
counting
the road.
down the longest minutes of your life.
Yeah.
No.
Or if it's truly an emergency, you know, your parents just like stop off at the side of the road. You know, you drop your pants and then you just do your business
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, the,
In the bushes, yeah.
Use
yeah,
like
yeah.
a leaf or something.
yeah, you know, gotta go jungle style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do that hiking.
Commando.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you've done hiking?
Oh yeah.
In the
Oh
nature. I heard
my.
that's actually a really nice, good experience because we're actually intended to be squatting.
Squatting?
Yeah.
It's not bad. I always carry like some tissues and wet naps.
Really?
with me when
Yeah,
I
you
hike.
should.
I'm just so scared of something like
Someone
going
Bites you?
up
Yeah,
my
yeah,
ass.
yeah.
Someone bites your ass.
No,
Something
no,
bites your
there's
ass.
something going up my ass if we're going.
Why would it go up your ass?
No, it bugs, man.
I don't know how many
Yo,
bugs
bugs,
can
man,
jump
bugs.
up that high, but
Yo, man, I hate bugs. That's what I'm saying. I hate
Oh
bugs.
yeah, you hate bugs.
Freaking hate bugs. It's my worst nightmares.
Up your ass. That's
Yeah.
insane.
Alright, well,
Yeah, but I think generally when like you guys like when you think of embarrassing moments, I don't find actually like when I'm a kid, it's not as embarrassing sometimes.
Yep.
It's not like one of those things where you know you're about to go to bed at night and then you like your brain's starting to shut off and then you all of a sudden remember like a super embarrassing moment in your life and you're like, oh, why did I think about that? And
it keeps you up at night, kind of thing.
yeah. I think one of my most embarrassing moments is, you know, like when you think of something and it was like stupid decision, like literally the stupidest decision you've ever made. And then one of those times for me was when I was actually riding my bike. This was still elementary school, not quite high school. I think maybe I was like grade 6 or grade 7. So I was riding bikes with friends and we were playing cops and robbers on bicycles, if anybody remembers how it plays that way. And so basically the game was as long as you could get if you were a cop, as long as you could get your bike wheel as close as possible to the robber's bike, then they were essentially caught. And so I was the robber at that time and I was pedaling as hard as I could throughout. We were around a elementary school doing it on a weekend, and I was pedaling as hard as I could, and I was trying to do everything I could to lose my friend who was chasing after me at that time. And for the strangest reason, I thought I could run through a very thin-looking chain link fence, and I went at full speed. This was like as hard as I could pedal at the time. I went full speed through the chain link fence and I literally clotheslined myself, and my bike continued on without me underneath the chain link fence. And I literally bounced straight out the other way, and I actually still have a scar to this day to remember that.
oh,
But
man.
Wow.
it's like right on my left hand here, and I literally slid a few feet. It was why did I think I could go through a metal chain link fence? This is really weird. But yeah, apparently I did, and like now I'm like, oh, now I have a scar here for like whatever
So you
reason.
just saw like a chain link fence and you're like, I'm gonna pedal
Yeah.
like 100
Yeah,
miles per hour and just go through like
I'm gonna
Superman.
phase through it.
Yeah, I literally thought I could break it or something. You know, like when you go through something enough, like it'll like snap.
Yeah.
And for some odd reason, I thought I changed.
But you were the one that
So
snapped.
you just like bounced off like.
Yeah, I literally bounced off. I mean, we're pretty resilient as kids. Like,
Yeah.
not like now when we get injured, it takes us a while.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I was banged up for a good few weeks. So,
How old were you? Did you
I
say?
was. How old are you when you're grade 6, 7-ish?
It's too much Dragon Ball.
Oh, like 10,
7?
11
You're like,
-ish?
yeah, around
Yeah.
11.
I think.
Well, yeah, probably around there. Yeah, I was. Yeah, that took me out for a good few weeks. I was like, no bikes.
So you were pretty old to comprehend that you can't just ride a bike.
Those,
chain link fence.
Yeah,
I thought you were like 5 or something.
Yeah, I think it was at the time. It was because you're focused on the game. You're I gotta get away, gotta get away. You're like, what can I do?
Only option, just go through this.
Not if you had superpowers like during that moment.
Yeah, we all do stupid stuff when we're young, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
So what did your friends say when they saw you? Like, just bounce off?
They literally, everyone stopped. They're like, they go like running.
Oh, they didn't point a laugh at you.
No, they had to. Well, I mean, they knew it was serious enough that they were like.
They were laughing inside.
Yeah, they still bring it up from time to time if I ever stop to talk without them. I don't know. Have you guys ever had like embarrassing moments in high school? Like the best one I could think about was maybe. I guess everyone's done it, like line dancing or square dancing at high school. Like, did you guys have any embarrassing moments then, or like something to do with maybe high school crushes, or
not really embarrassing, but I know no one wants to do it, right?
No.
When you're young, you're super scared to touch a girl's hand.
Remember back then, the girls would like roll their sleeves past their hands so they don't touch you?
Yeah, because they don't want to touch you, right?
What?
Oh, it was just me. No, like square dancing or whatever, where you have to like hold each other's hands or whatever. But then they've like cooties and all that
Exactly.
bullshit.
Clapping
So
hands.
There is like stuff like that, but I think the best part of square dancing was when you get to hold hands with the most prettiest girl or someone you had a crush on, and you're just waiting. And you're just like, oh, she's over there in that square. Just wait till the rotation happens, and then as soon as the bell rings, like, damn, gotta wait for next week. Like, oh man.
So like when that happens, you're like nervous as hell inside.
Yeah,
you're trying to play it cool.
Yeah, you're trying to play it cool, but
cinematic.
you know.
You're shitty.
The other person knows because your hand is sweaty.
Clammy.
Yeah, and then you're
super
just
undertracked.
yeah, and
you're
kinda
like, sorry, I'm trying not to be all
and
sweaty, but it's
when you find the girl attractive, like for me back then, I was really shy, so you don't like look at them, you look away or you look down all the time.
No.
Yeah. So man, but it was probably the best time of my life. holding that hand, like, woo.
Still think about it.
Still think about it.
What grade did you guys do line
It was
dancing in?
grade
Square
8
dancing?
and 9.
Yeah.
At grade
8 and 9?
10, there was like ballroom.
Yes, it's ballroom.
Yeah, there's some salsa, I think.
We didn't get that
yeah,
either.
That's pretty. That's
Yeah,
pretty
but
good.
I went to a different high school after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the things might be a bit different, but
I think for each high school it is different. I remember doing the 8 and 9 square dancing / line dancing. Grade 10, I'm not sure if we did ballroom, but there was some sort of dancing, and then afterwards they just stopped it after that. So
Yeah, it's just up to grade 9 for square dancing or line dancing, and then nothing else after that.
yeah. The funniest part is when they don't have an even number of girls and guys, and then it has 2 guys
Dance
dance
with
with
the
each other.
guys.
Yeah, it's like the most funniest thing. No one wants to touch the guy. No one wants to touch each other. So kind of floating hands, and then teacher will be like, "Yo, hold hands." You're like, "No, I don't want to."
Because it's like the really fragile male
Yeah,
masculinity.
you know,
right?
yeah.
You don't want to be like linking. Of course.
I guess like back,
You're linking.
No, I'm saying you don't want to accidentally like link.
Oh.
yeah, and then back then they make fun of you for it. It's you're still not known for the
yeah, and then you'd
it's
be
not
like,
common.
I think with friends it's funny though. Like when you like dance with your friend, you're like, oh, this is
Oh yeah.
You
With
just,
your
like,
friends
joke
it's fine,
around,
but with
yeah.
someone like random, oh man, it's the most weirdest thing.
just look away, bro. Just look away.
Yeah, but they make
especially if they go for the hand leg, you're like, bro.
yeah. They make eye contact with you at the same time. You're like, something happening?
I think my most embarrassing moment is after high school. It was like in my early 20s, I spent a little bit of time in Toronto, just like a brief vacation, and then I met this friend, and then we still kept in contact, and then came back to Vancouver. She came over to Vancouver to visit a year or 2 after that. So I was taking her around the city to do some sightseeing, and then she was here for about a week, and then during that time, I only had one credit card, and that credit card limit was like about $1,000. I bought a big gift for my brother at that time, and almost maxed out my card. So anyway, I was still determined to like get her around, take her around the city. Took her to this really nice restaurant downtown, Miku. You guys, we've all been there.
By the water.
Yeah, by the water.
Nice
Yeah,
view.
nice view, great food, and the bill comes, and then it was like, when it was on our table, of course, like I was gonna pay for it, and then I just looked at the amount, and I was trying to do some mental math calculating, and I was like, oh shit, do I
How much
pay
is
for
left
this?
for your
Yeah,
credit?
no, it was way over my credit.
It was like at least 200 or close to 200, right?
Yeah.
More than a few hundred, yeah.
Yeah,
it's
if
like
you're
it's
getting a
considered
lot
a
of
fancier
Nico's
place.
an expensive place, yeah.
But then I was thinking, oh man, plus my existing balance that I haven't paid off yet. It's gonna put me over, and it's gonna decline, and then I'm gonna get so embarrassed in front of her. So I said, okay, no problem, I got this. And then I went to the washroom while she was sitting at a table, and then I was like doing some math, and then I was like trying to transfer my money over, waiting for everything to go through.
Yeah.
And then I kept refreshing my my credit card statement, and it didn't refresh. It didn't increase my
Oh my God.
owing balance.
Yeah.
After I transferred everything over. I guess at that time I didn't know that I needed like a few days to
To reflect on your credit card. Yeah.
right. So went back to the table, and then at this point I was like speechless. Like my stomach was up to my throat. I couldn't talk. I was
Just
so
thinking of
nervous.
how to,
I was like
bring it up.
Yeah, so embarrassed. And then I was like, okay, I need to use the washroom again. And then I went back to the washroom, and I was like trying to stall for time, thinking, oh, it's gonna go through this time or whatever. And it still didn't go through. And then
Oh, you were doing the payment at the front and she was still waiting at the table, right?
no, I was doing the payment. No, I was waiting for the
Your
payment to
statement
go
to-
through
oh, I
on
see.
my
So
card.
so it's like basically the balance owing, right? So he was reducing the balance owing so that he could
Pay
get
for the
more,
dinner. Or,
so
yeah,
he could pay for the dinner to increase the credit limit that he had.
exactly.
Did you think of using your debit, or did you not have a debit at the time?
No, I didn't have a debit at that time. I didn't bring it.
really?
Yeah. I was like,
So that's usually the backup, right?
yeah. So then I went back to the table. I did that like 3 or 4 times. I was just like
She's
stalling.
like, oh, this guy
I know.
must have
I
stomach
still
issues,
don't know
The
what
sushi
she's
must
be
yeah,
bad or
yeah. So I was just like, you know, one time I just winged it, and then I used my credit card, and it went through. I was like, oh my god.
Oh
thank
my
goodness.
God.
Yeah. And then we just left right after that. I was like, oh my god.
Did you tell her that story after?
No.
You didn't?
No.
You should tell her.
Because that's
you have
actually
friends,
like-
right?
Yeah. We're still friends.
Because the effort you went through is
Oh
like,
my
it
God.
shows that you really care.
So embarrassed at that time.
Imagine you come back and be like, so we're gonna have a change of plans. We're gonna be washing dishes for a couple of hours. It's gonna be fun though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that was so stressful
Yeah.
and so
Oh,
embarrassing.
man.
Yeah.
Okay, that is.
I think if a girl heard that you went through all that effort, it
They
depends on the girl,
understand.
but anyone with a heart would be like, oh, that's actually really sweet.
Yeah.
Because you could have just told me to cover it, just or split it. And
No, yeah, I don't know. I think
Depends
at
on
that
the
time
person.
I was like in my early 20s. I had that toxic male masculinity where it's
Yeah.
like,
It's-
oh, guys have to pay for everything.
Yeah.
I do. It
Yeah,
was like,
and it's like a pride thing. You don't
yeah,
wanna,
yeah,
you know.
yeah. It's a pride thing. And my
especially
ego,
when you're taking her around town.
right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
She's
Yeah.
like a guest too, right? So-
Exactly. Yeah.
you
When
gotta
she pays
focus.
for like 500 something for a flight here, it's like I want to take her around, right?
Yeah, it makes sense.
For things, I mean, have you ever done? This is going back to maybe like the high school phase. Have you ever done something for your crush? I put it out there. Have you ever done something like for your crush, or maybe you kind of misinterpreted something for towards a girl that you liked in high school that you maybe like just keep thinking about nowadays? You're like, oh, I shouldn't have done that.
Back in high school?
Yeah, back in high school.
Oh man.
Or like,
Really?
I was too chicken.
Yeah. It takes a lot of like
Yeah, like-
stones to
like,
approach.
Yeah, like I didn't think I built that confidence until
Yesterday.
until yesterday. No,
Last week.
It took a long time. I think it's until probably 2 years after high school. So yeah, I think when you were telling me about those guys on YouTube, his name is Kong.
Oh, simple pickup.
Simple pickup. Because back then, elementary, high school, even after high school, like maybe 2 years into like post-secondary, I was still very, I guess, nervous talking to girls, and even ordering food, I was really
So
scared.
you're a
doing
bit
that.
anxious.
Yeah, anxious. Like I couldn't order food. Even like my parents would say, they told me to just order something at the restaurant, right? And they own the restaurant, but me going to the chef and asking that was nerve-wracking, because maybe I think that my Chinese is not good enough,
Oh.
or I don't know.
Or like a little bit telling somebody what to do. As
yes,
well.
maybe,
Yeah.
but like,
Because there's like a whole age imbalance.
but it's a
right? Like, you're
confrontation. I think
yeah,
it's a
yeah.
confrontation that I'm
Yeah.
I'm scared. So I think once you told me about that, I started like watching all those videos. So I believe those videos do help. in a good way because it really teaches you to build confidence. I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
So I really helped build confidence, and I end up talking to girls not to pick them up, but just so I can work on my confidence, just to have a normal conversation. Just example would be go grocery store, you're looking at something like, oh, like I'm trying to make certain dish, like what do you think? Have you made something like that? Just start some kind of conversation.
Yeah.
I think that really helped. And then, you know, watching all those videos, how to like build those confidence. I know people use that for more pickup, but
funny.
Yeah, no, I'm just wondering because they're still seen as are they canceled because of how predatory
I think it's
they were?
just like the algorithm. Maybe like they
Yes.
stopped posting, but yeah, I think when you first watch those videos, you take it as just learning how to
Pick up
use
girls.
certain like pickup lines, kind of trick these girls
Yeah,
into getting a
predatory.
number. But I actually watching those videos, I actually learned a lot about myself because just like you, I was very shy, introverted, especially moving here after high school, being a new city. Like I didn't know you guys at the time, I didn't have any friends or anything, and like I was just always just studying. So I was always scared to approach girls or just like talk to guys and just make friends, right? I was always like shy, didn't have any confidence. And watching those videos, I learned to just build up my confidence, self-confidence. Whereas like if I go up to someone, I'm like, oh hey, like whatever, if I was attracted to someone, I'd be like, oh hey, like what's your name? Start a conversation. If they say like, oh actually I'm not interested, or I have a boyfriend, I'm like, oh yeah, that's cool. Like you kind of learn that like rejection's okay. Like you're not trying to pick up everyone, or even like making friends, right? Being social, like kind of breaking out of that comfort zone.
It's being not afraid of being
Putting yourself out there.
Yes. I think everyone is scared of being judged, right?
Yeah.
So that's why my fear was like being judged, because I'm like, oh, what if they reject me? And then you start going to rabbit's hole. You start making yourself feel bad, and you're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
So that kind of helped change my perspective of really shutting that down, and then just go for it. Because the more I think about it, the more I'm just gonna like get out of it.
While on it,
It can relate to a lot of things. It can give you more confidence in work. Speaking up on like presentations, like big meetings with like senior directors and stuff. So it translates to a lot of things.
Not just dating. So I feel like it really helped just build the confidence in general.
Yeah.
But it's the biggest thing. I feel for Derek, I feel like you don't have a problem with
This guy's always going on dates.
Yeah.
He's getting most action ever.
dates left and right.
smooth talker.
A lot of time, no, in high school, I was pretty much the same as you guys in high school. It was sort of like a mix of lack of self-confidence, and it was also more like, you know, in high school, where I think everybody did it. They're like, oh, you hear the rumors, oh, so-and-so has a crush on like whoever, right? And then the rumors circulate, and then if it happened to be true, the other person's like, oh no, this person's gonna find out, and then you were so nervous. So the reason why I brought up the thing was like, oh, if you ever approach like your crush in like the high school ages, like if you were to talk to them and they already known about it, like if they happen to hear through like the grapevine at high school that you'd be like completely red trying to talk to them, and
balloon
and then like they could like immediately tell that the rumors were true, and you're like, oh, I can't believe I did that.
Are they avoiding you in the hallway?
Yeah,
As soon as they see you, they walk the other way.
You're like, oh no,
she knows.
I know that, like you can see them purposely go out of their way to avoid you, and then like that would be that was like probably that would be such an embarrassing situation.
You see her sprinting down the hallway, opposite direction. You're like, I'm not that ugly.
Yeah. And in high school, you gotta be careful what information you give out, right? Like even if you tell some of your friends, they might just tell the other friends, and the whole school, and they're like,
people talk.
hey, Tony likes this girl, and then like it just makes you'll never be able to approach them. They'll never want, because like they're probably embarrassed too, right? Their name is being in this room.
Especially if like they don't reciprocate those feelings for you. Well, it's different if they reciprocate the feelings, then maybe it's more of a who takes the first step kind of thing.
Yeah.
But that's also kind of rare in high school as well. Like
the guy has to approach.
Yeah, it's basically like, oh, the guy likes the girl and the girl likes the guy. So it has to be the two-way thing, right? So like the other situation I thought about was, did your schools ever have those candy grounds, whether it be for Valentine's
singing telegrams and stuff?
Similar.
Yes.
So the funniest thing was, so many rumors started from that because they gave you the option well, for my school, they gave you the option. Is one, you have to specify who you're sending the candygram to. And then two, you could either put your name on it or you can put it as anonymous. And so you like see some of the girls in school when they get the candygrams, and then they're like, if it was from so and so, maybe you'd be like, oh, they're like friends or something, or they're within the same friend group. Then you would know it's like, oh, it's just like a gift or something. Right. But like if it became from anonymous, everyone's like, ooh,
yes.
okay.
It was kind of shitty because at my school you had to write either your name or anonymous, and then somebody pranked me and wrote or sent a candygram to somebody and wrote from Ricky.
Oh my god.
Oh.
And
did you like her though?
Sent it to a guy.
Oh.
This fucking asshole sent the candygram from Ricky to another guy.
I would be laughing. I'd just be waiting.
Oh my god, that was
Because
pretty
obviously the
awful.
guy would know it's a joke, right? But
was he your friend though? Or was it just a random person?
Not close. Well, it was like a little bit mingling into like bullying at that time.
Oh.
And then we got into a fist fight after that. But that's for another time. Yeah. That's for another time. But
yeah, you know, it would have been a huge dick move if you actually liked a girl and then your friends found out and they did that to the girl.
Yeah.
And then they break up any potential you have with her, right?
Or would it be their way of winging you in?
Oh, maybe.
Oh, that's a great way. Yeah.
That depends on how the girl responds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It depends on how tall you are.
Yes.
Oh man, yeah, that kind of brings me back to one story as well. So like it was the only time it happened to me. I actually got a flower or what was like a rose or something.
Yeah.
Where they bring it around, they're like, "Oh, Tony," I'm like, "Oh, me? I got one." So I looked at it. It was like a heart. It was like XOXO, like from Anonymous. And then I was like, "Oh snap! Like who's this?" Right?
You feel good.
I felt great.
Yeah.
I felt great. I bought it, put it in my room. I was looking.
Best
I was like,
time
"Oh,
of your
man."
life, yeah.
Yeah, because like I was only in grade 9, so you're like, or grade 8 or grade 9, so you're like super, like, you know, you're insecure. Everything like good that happens to you, you're like, oh man, it feels good, right? Someone has a crush on you, right? And then I was trying to figure out who it was, and this goes back to the square line dancing. So there was one time in PE, grade 9, I think, grade 8 or 9, we actually got to dance with the seniors.
Whoa.
So there were 2 years older than us, right? So we got to dance with them. And then I was there was this blonde girl. She's like really pretty. She smelled good, and she came. She wanted to dance, right? And then we were doing the thing. I was like, oh wow, this is pretty good, right? This is good. Then later, someone told me like, oh, you know that girl? Like she says like, you look like her boyfriend or something. So she's like, oh yeah. She's like, oh, she saw you in the hallway. She's like, oh, she looks like you look like her boyfriend or something, right? And then that's why she got me that flower on Valentine's. So like when I heard that, I was like, oh, so it's not really like an actual crush. It's more just like, oh, look at that kid, he's kind of cute, and give him a flower, right? So I kept that note and that flower in like my room for the longest time. When I heard that, I was like, oh, it doesn't feel as good anymore, right?
You like burn it right after.
I think I just threw it away, but yeah. So it all goes like full circle. Like you feel good, and then someone tells you like, oh, okay, it's not that great. So
Life's a lie.
yeah, exactly. So. Yeah, I think the one time in high school when you're forced to approach someone,
Yo,
you guys all know it.
Worst.
Prom? For prom? Yeah.
I never. Did you go to prom?
Yeah.
I skipped prom.
Oh, did you guys go?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I didn't approach anybody for it.
Did you get a date though?
No.
No.
Oh.
What about you?
It's just
Jared?
Um,
Got a date?
So my school was really funny in that sort of sense. So high school was, there is a school handled prom, and then there is a student committee organized prom. So there are 2 proms essentially. I only went to the school organized one, and no, I did not bring a date.
Okay. So
You brought a date though, right?
yeah. So my story is a bit embarrassing too. So there was this girl that I liked probably mostly through high school, but especially in like grade 11, 12.
Yeah.
I was just attracted, and she just happened to be in a lot of my classes.
Yeah.
Right. Super chill and everything. And then I remember like, you know, when you're young, you're kind of not always aware of what you're doing. Like you might be creepy or like staring in the distance, but you you're just unaware, right? So I remember like we're in math class, I'd be like the teacher would be giving a lesson, and I'd just be like just looking over. Looking back, probably super creepy, but like yeah.
Was she sitting like right?
She was
in the
sitting
front,
across the room.
So you had to like turn your head sideways.
Yeah. So obviously, like looking back, she can see me in like her peripheral. Like, dude, this guy's. But we're all super chill, right? Like we all had mutual friends, super chill. So like I kind of mustered up the
courage.
The courage exactly to like ask her, and I was like, okay, how am I gonna do this? I'm gonna go buy like a little bouquet of flowers.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get like a note. Like it was so stupid, but I'll get like a note that says like, "Will you go to prom with me?"
Oh, that's sweet.
And then so like I knew what day I was gonna do it, and like all through the day I was like, okay, I gotta find the right time. Like I was like so nervous, I was like shaking, and I was like, and then awkwardly I came over during like a little break in our class. I was like, oh hey, you want to just step out? I gotta show you something, right?
Oh wow.
Super awkward. Like yeah, I was always awkward throughout school, and then. We went to my locker, we got the flowers, and then I brought the note. I was like, "Oh hey, will you go to prom with me?"
Nice.
And I was like shaking. I could like barely say it.
Were you making eye contact? No, right?
A little bit, yeah.
Oh, that's
Because
good,
we've known
that's
each other
good.
for a long time, and we have a lot of mutual friends. We go to
Yeah,
parties
yeah.
and stuff, right? And then she was like, "Oh no, because I already have a date."
Oh.
And the person she said, the guy, was actually one of my close friends. So I was like, okay, that's no surprise. Like they're tight. I was like, oh, that's kind of devastating. And then when you get back to class, and you know what? And when that happens, they don't take the flowers. They're like, okay, sit. I put it back in my locker. And then we go back to class, act like nothing happens. I was just chopping it up with the boys. Like, I didn't tell anyone about.
You were
that.
chopping up with the boys,
no
but you were
way.
crying
Inside, I was crying. I was trying to crack jokes and stuff, and she was just playing cool. I was like,
shit.
dude, that was so awkward.
And then you
Brutal.
after
Yeah.
class, you go back to your locker. All the boys are there. They open. It's like, why's the
Yeah,
flowers
what's the
there? And you're like,
flowers? Who do you go to prom with?
it's for myself.
Yeah. So what ended up happening was I asked someone else, and
Yeah.
she was super chill as well, and then ended up working out.
Nice.
Okay.
And then we talked about it. We kind of laughed about it in like a couple weeks after when we're actually at prom. We're like, oh, remember? Like, oh.
That's good. That's cool.
Yeah, she brought it up. I was like, oh yeah, that was kind of stupid. I should have known that you were gonna go with him because you guys are tight, right?
Yeah.
You know they
Yeah.
weren't dating, so that was the only time I got the courage to approach someone, and I
Nice.
failed
Damn.
miserably.
No, but still, that confidence, like be able to muster up that courage to do it.
Yeah, in high school that's really rough.
Honestly,
It's-
I can never do
No,
that.
no.
Do you guys think it has to do with just being like growing up in an Asian household where like you're not like your parents aren't the most confident people, and then you're kind of taught to kind of stay in your lane and
No.
not speak out and stuff? Oh
no, I was just chicken.
Oh,
I think it's just a personality thing. Yeah.
oh, okay, because
My-
most Asian.
Yeah, my parents tend to force me to do it,
Oh,
but I just couldn't do it. I think it's just personality. I was very timid and shy, like
Yeah.
since I was really young. So
I noticed that most Asian guys don't have that confidence
Mm-hmm.
coming out of like high school and stuff. So I don't know if it's how you're raised by your parents or.
I don't know. It really depends. Oh, I went to a mostly Asian high school, so I can't really say for like demographic wise. But like, I have this feeling like even in high school, because you're going through so many hormonal changes, even if you were to like, your body's changing, your mentality is changing, and let's face it, like pimples and stuff were a huge thing in high school too. So like you don't necessarily have the best self-reflected image of yourself, and so whenever you think about it, you always revert back to, I guess, the safest point where it's like, oh, like why would this person ever go out with me? It's like I'm not really that attractive, or like
you put yourself down.
yeah, sort of like you're like, well, it's like I don't really have good enough quality traits. I was like, I don't think this person would really necessarily like me, which is why like when you mustered up the courage to ask that girl, it's like, oh, that's really good, right? It's like not many people have that, and like especially for prom, I think a lot of people, at least in my high school, like the people that they went to prom with was either when they are asked out or
Girlfriend?
something, it was either a girlfriend
Right.
or like they had known each other for a very long time in their friend group.
Super
Like,
comfortable with each other.
yeah,
Mm.
and they'd be like, "Hey, you want to just go to prom
Yeah, it's like a
together?"
mutual
From
thing.
there?
You're
Yeah.
like,
Yep.
Okay.
You got no date?
Yeah.
Want to go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
High school is a very fragile time.
Yo, man. Everyone's trying to fit in high school.
Yeah.
And,
And the hormones are raging.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
definitely.
So yeah,
Oh,
that plays a
definitely.
part.
Damn, look at the time. Oh man, I guess we have to cut it off here and share a little bit more next time. But please tune in for the next podcast and follow us on Instagram, YouTube. Hit that notification button. We're on Spotify now, thanks to Ricky. So
Should be up on Apple Podcast and Google Podcast pretty soon.
oh no way. Okay.
So yeah, hit subscribe, follow us on Instagram.
Yeah, you can check
for the latest
you
content.
can find the links of all those Instagram or Spotify, all that in the description. And please leave a comment if you've had similar experiences that you want to share with us also.
Yeah, or anything that you want us to kind of cover, let us know.
Mhm.
All right, see you guys on the next one.
All right.
Thanks.
See you.
Yeah.
Cue the music.